Stock funding backstory. And here we are again with Karush from Osmoponic, who are live on Kickstarter, and all the links will be in the video description below. Thank you so much, Karush. It's been a great series of interviews. We've done the main interview and we've done a really informative deep dive, which really looks at the product itself and how you can make your plants feel at home in your own home. But really, one of the things that came through was yourself, Karush, and your really backstory. You alluded to it in the main interview, where at one point, you were saying you did product design, and at one point you said you were away working in Mexico, I think, for 2 years, right? And then you said, "Oh, and I was also working in Thailand." So can we just take that in stages, just to talk about your backstory? I mean, I think this has been evolving over, I think, a 10-year period or so. Can we just talk about your journey?
Evolving over a 10-year period, but my fascination with plants has been a lifelong, since I was, raised partially on the farm. So yes, it's been a life's journey. But a little bit of background on mine. On my Persian side, we had a family farm. We have a family farm. And, this area is a rough area that's been through about 40 years of drought now. And there were some beautiful whiteberry, that's got a particular name, and walnut trees that are over 200 years old scattered in this region. And I remember feeling bad for these plants and wanting to go water them, but the local folks wouldn't let me. They said, if you start watering them, you're going to change their environmental behavior. If you're going to start watering them, you're going to have to start watering them for the rest of their lives. Otherwise, you're going to kill them. And I'm like, how? It's like they've adapted so much to their environment that, your interference could damage that. And it was fascinating to me that, humans could have negative effects on nature. That just blew my mind. I came to learn that we could have plenty of negative effects on nature, but then, when I came to the United States, and part of that background was, of that area was the old wisdom that they used to use ceramic pots for watering, and you've seen that in a modern sense to kind of being picked up again. So I had that knowledge, my background, and then in college I took ceramics and played with ceramics, and then I went to school for industrial design. So all of those three kind of came together, and then this idea came to mind, and started out really, really miserably. If you see the first prototypes, they just terrible. But through years of working in the garage and refining it, I developed it. But then creating one is so different than having something mass produced. So that's when I kind of picked up everything and went to Mexico and went to a factory and started prototyping with that factory in Mexico for a couple of years. And it was fascinating. It was a fascinating journey, but it was tough. And I learned a lot there. And the factory owner was such a wonderful gentleman. It was a ceramic professor in Guadalajara University. So he taught me a lot about the manufacturing process, and that journey helped with that as well. But Mexico has for years lost its skilled labor to China. So there wasn't that much of a skilled labor for mass production. So I learned everything I could, and then went to Thailand for a few months and worked with factories there where they still have some skilled labor, and they do such beautiful, delicate work in Thailand. So I learned a lot there. I learned so many tricks of the mold making process from a Burmese worker in one of these Thailand factories. So it's been a long and fruitful journey with a lot of education and learning before it got to this point of being these designs and these functions that that I'm hopefully bringing to people, and hopefully getting their help in bringing it to them, because it is a difficult difficult product. Even though slip casting from the Roman times has not changed much, it is labor intensive, but I find it to be very rewarding because of the effects on plants and ultimately the effects on humans that care for those plants. So it's all been worth it. So
yeah, well, I just love the journey, man. I mean, it's a fantastic backstory. I was mesmerized, like, and it's also like an entrepreneurial journey because we got all great companies starting in a garage, and you, for I would say we're working in a full-time job somewhere, and then you were coming home and working in your garage,
yes,
you know, for a long time trying to figure out what you were going to do, and you know, your wife was there to wife and family were there to support Karish's her brain ideas, you know, and then as that evolved, and it's like, oh, you really got something here, and you know, then you were able to carry it forward to go to Mexico and to get that education with the ceramics professor, fantastic, and then to go off to Thailand to get, and then like that's just a lovely story about working with that Burmese guy, just to get the craftsmanship and all those, you know, your product design history, but also the craftsmanship does come through in the products, which I recommend people to go and look at the deep dive where we really look at the product itself, and that, you know, you've really crafted a beautiful product for people to bring plants into their own home. So fantastic, my friend. Listen, all the best for your campaign. So thank you very much, Karush from Osmoponic. All the links of the Kickstarter campaign will be in the video description below. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Thank you.
Bye now.